All right, everybody, welcome to a Nosebleed Perspective, where three guys talk about the best sport in North America. We're going to get into a little hockey talk, boys. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this ball rolling. Rangers, we haven't had a little hockey talk in a while, so we're going to talk about some topics that a few weeks old, but hey, bear with us. We're not the best at this. Number one pick goes to the Rangers because the draft lottery BS. Poor Detroit, man. Shitty town, shitty football team, shitty basketball team, shitty hockey team. They can't even get the number one pick. Do you think the Rangers take advantage of this, Cheech, and get better?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like you said, first of all, I need to touch on the loss that Detroit just sustained by not getting this pick. It's tough they got 30-something points this season, and we're like clearly the worst team in the NHL. And instead, this went to a team that was playing for a spot to be in the actual playoffs. Like this was a playoff team. It was a top 24 team. So for the fact that the Rangers got it is upsetting for that. Two, I'm a Devils fan. I hate the Rangers with just every cell inside my body hates the Rangers. So seeing them get the lottery absolutely crushed me because I know that they're going to get Alexis Lafreniere, and I mean he's clearly leagues above the rest of the guys in the draft. The Rangers already they had the number 2 pick last year. They got Capo Caco. So these are just two dynamic wingers that they have on top of the fact that they got Panarin in the offseason last year, who's an absolute monster. And Buchnevich, another mean winger that they've got on that team. The guys have been in jet. They got Strome, so they don't need centers. I'm afraid of the Rangers' offense, to be quite honest. I'm just glad that they aren't going to draft a defender, so their defense won't get much better unless they pick somebody up in the offseason. And obviously their goaltending is questionable right now. Nobody knows what's going on with Henrik, if he's going to come back for another season, not if he's going to retire. Right now they got Shesterkin and Djurgården listed as their goalies, or whatever the Russian name is. But so they don't even have Lundqvist listed as their goaltenders right now. So it's a very interesting time for the Rangers. And they can build up their offense all they want. If they don't have anybody between the pipes, they're not going to be a winning team. So I was actually shocked to see that Jake Allen didn't go to a team like the Rangers because they're a team that needs a goalie right now.
Yeah. Well, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think this is a big offseason for the Rangers. So they've only got about $13 million in cap space this offseason because, as we all know, the cap for the NHL is not going up for like 2 or 3 years because they're trying to slowly bounce back from this whole COVID thing. And, we talked about Strome. They're going to have to prepay him. Their defense isn't good, and I think that's why they have to move on from Lundqvist. That $8.5 million cap hit that they take, they've got to move away from him, roll with one of the 2 backups that you talked about, and get defense. They've got some offensive defensemen, but they need some defensive defensemen. They need some guys that are going to clear the front of the net and help out whoever that goalie is. So it's a big offseason for the Rangers, and I think they get better, but they're still going to have a lot of holes.
So did they traded for your St. Louis Blues guy though, Scandella? No, that didn't happen. Okay,
maybe.
Well, I just saw a post 6 hours ago that they traded for Scandella. He's a Blues guy, right?
Defenseman?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got him, huh?
Yeah, they traded for him. They got him.
Well, he's not that good, so good for the Rangers. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
All right.
Cheers to the Rangers. All right. Moving on to our next topic, we'll keep it on with the East Coast. The Penguins, very good team, pretty much a dynasty of late. Is their window closed as there is rumors of Matt Murray and Malkin being on the trade block?
I don't think that it's closed, man. I mean, first of all, we saw that Jari can play goalie. They've got a goaltender in Jari. Even if they get rid of Matt Murray, which honestly they probably should, because Jari is going to be the cheaper option. They've got the same numbers. We talked about it couple months ago on one of our Penguins fan episodes, Jari and Murray have the same career stats, same save percentage, same goals against average. Obviously, the wins are a little different because of the amount of time in the league. Matt Murray's got 2 Stanley Cups, something like that. So it's difficult to say that Matt Murray needs to go away, but I mean they've got a replacement for him. I don't see Malkin leaving the Penguins. They might have rumors of it. I don't see it happening. They just got Kapanen, who is absolutely ecstatic that he's going to either play with Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin. I don't think that the window's closing on the Penguins because it's not closing on Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin yet. I think that like once those dudes get a little bit older, that's when we're gonna like see the window actually close. But I think right now the Penguins are still very much in the fight.
Yeah, so for me, I think the window closes if they play Matt Murray. If they chalk up all this money to Matt Murray, they lock up their free agency. They lock up as the same team that's been knocked out of the first round of the playoffs the last couple of years. I think that would close their window because I think they'd just be in too much of a cap crunch. Crosby's 33, Malcolm's 34, Letang's 33. That's not too old for hockey talk, but, it's getting up there. So for me, I think they've got to move on, and they've got to roll with the backup there and keep it going.
Yeah, they definitely have a good 2-3 years left out of those guys that you just mentioned. So like you said, getting rid of Murray right now and keeping Jari because he's just as good would be the move for the Penguins.
So we know that hockey is always better when Canadian teams are in there because Canadians spend so much money on the NHL and they do all this stuff. And it seems like the NHL is always trying to get Canadian teams to be better. But no matter what they do, no matter what breaks they get, they still can't. Cheech, why are the Leafs and the Oilers so bad with all that talent? It's like in NFL, it'd be like if the Chiefs and the Ravens got knocked out the Ravens do get knocked out in the playoffs the first round every time, but it's kind of like that situation. Like, how does that happen? Like, how is it every year we do this? Every year we go over this.
Yeah, I don't, so it's crazy when I was looking this up. Both the Oilers and the Leafs actually replaced their coaches in 2019 also. So it's not even like they've got all this talent, but they've got the same coach for the past 15 years and he just can't coach anymore. They both went into this season with new coaches and it's just not happening for me. It doesn't make sense to me. Like you said, all this talent. I mean, the Oilers had like 5 first overall picks in a row. Of course, they don't have those players anymore. We know Taylor Hall is over with the Coyotes now. But it's just absolutely – I don't understand. I honestly don't know what it's going to take because, I mean, the Leafs, they were one of my top teams going into the playoffs this year. I thought that they were going to put up a good fight. I mean, they're obviously a team that's built to win, and they've got just a lot of offensive monsters on that team. But here we are. Leafs are no longer playing, and they're going into their 65th year without a Stanley Cup.
So are Canadian teams, like, historically, they don't produce in the playoffs, or is it, like?
Well, back in the day, they did. They were the whole league. So, but it's just of lately, they haven't been good.
Yeah. I mean, the Leafs haven't won a cup in 65 years. The Canadians, they've been on a drought. The Oilers been on a drought. The Canucks been on a drought. The Flames, I don't even know if the Flames ever made it to the cup. So
Winnipeg keeps moving.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Canada right now: they have been advised to use face masks during sex. So
really, I did not know that.
Yep, that came out today. I saw it on Fox News in the gym today. So anyway, go ahead.
It's just crazy. Like, I'll go ahead and I think both teams kind of want to give the same advice to both teams, but the Leafs were shut out one time in 70 games during the regular season. They only scored 3 goals at full strength during this postseason.
Damn.
Like, that's motivation. Like, that just comes down to motivation. Like, you get there and you think you can cakewalk through, and this is when hockey is different than any other sport. It's like you can be the most talented team, but if you're not willing to bang against the boards, you're not willing to fight for them pucks in the corners and scoop them out and take some hits. So I think both of these teams need to take a playbook from the Lightning and see what they did last year. The Lightning last year were statistically the best team in NHL history, but they didn't have bangers. So what they do this offseason, they went and got guys like Pat Maroon, Luke Schenn, and Shattenkirk. Not the most talented guys in the league, but they will play against the boards. They'll take hits. They'll give hits back. I think both of these teams need to give up, this is going to sound stupid, but I think they need to give up some of that talent to get some bangers.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a shame because the league is moving so far away from having goons, but you need those dudes on your team. Like, you need the guy that's going to get that he's a centerman or he's a left or right winger that is going to get 8 points in this season and have 200 plus penalty minutes, but you need him. You need your Rupp or your Cam Avery or your Cam Jansen. You need those dudes on your team because they're gonna change the momentum. They're gonna go out there and just I mean, the Devils were down 3-1. I'll never forget this. The Devils were down 3-1 against the Philadelphia Flyers in the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals. Ooh. And Scott Stevens gave Eric Lindros a fucking concussion, and the Devils won the next 3 games, won that series, then won the Stanley Cup that year. You need that on your team. Because that one hit changed the entire way the playoffs were going. If it wasn't for Scott Stevens taking Eric Lindros out, the Flyers probably would have won the Stanley Cup that year. But that one hit changed everything. And that's what you need on your team. And if you just have a bunch of quick dudes who can't hit, but they can score goals if they get open, you're not going to win games.
Yeah, and from somebody who's not a hockey buff or anyone, I'm trying to be, but it's going to take some time. But from what I've seen, especially in the playoffs, man, you need somebody who's going to give you opportunity. Hockey's a game of chance, and what are the odds when it comes to somebody who's super talented and somebody who can get a shot off? You need somebody who can give you that opportunity to get that shot off, and it sounds like that's what you guys are describing, at least from my perspective. So
right on the head.
Yeah, the momentum changer.
And I have no idea what's happening in hockey, so that's my perspective. So yeah.
But you see the goals. You see the dude that's behind the goal line that just shovels the puck towards the net, and it bounces off the goalie's skate and goes in the net. So that's just you don't need Marner to come down at 100 miles per hour and put the puck top shelf. You just need somebody to put the puck on net. Yeah,
you need somebody to come down at 100 miles per hour and just fucking lay somebody out. I mean, you need somebody who's going to lift up the team. And yeah. All right, we'll talk about it more later, but yeah.
Yep, just like every sport, when it comes to playoff time, the game kind of changes. So you got to adjust. There's a President's Trophy, but nobody wants that. Yeah. Cheech, this one's for you, bud. The Devils, 3 first-round picks this year, $26 million in cap space next year. What are you hoping your Devils do this offseason?
All right, so first and foremost, we are the team that needs a goal scorer. I mean, we have a lot of potential maybe. We got Jack Hughes last year. We got Nikita Gusev. We got Jesper Bratt. We got Pavel Zacha, who I'm not really sold on. We got a bunch of young guys that are getting 30 to 40 points a season. Kyle Palmieri led the team with 50 points. We got rid of Taylor Hall last year. I mean, the Devils, we don't have offense. We got rid of Blake Coleman. He's playing on the Lightning right now, going to the Eastern Conference Finals. He was a Devil last year. I think I talked about it in the first round, how every team I was watching, Andy Green, he's a defenseman on the Islanders. He was a Devil last year. They're leading the series right now, possibly going to the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's just the Devils need goal scorers. We need somebody who's going to get more than 50 points. After that, they need a veteran defenseman. We don't need to draft we don't need a rookie defenseman. We need a veteran defenseman because we got PK Subban, solid guy. We need somebody to either pair with him because he's an offensive defenseman. So we need either a sit-back guy, or we just need a second line defenseman that's a veteran. I don't want another rookie. What's up, Locks?
No, you're good. I just want to go next.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we need a defenseman. As much as the trade for Taylor Hall a few years ago looked good, what was it, Eric Larson, I think is who we traded away. And it was a 1-for-1 trade. It was an amazing trade, but he was such a good defenseman. I would rather have him back right now than the first-round pick or whatever picks we got for Taylor Hall, depending on if they sign him or not, whatever comes from that. And I mean, lastly, like the goaltender situation. The Devils need help in every single part of the game. We need a goal scorer because your top scorer can't get 50 points and you expect your team to be good. You can't have 1-2 good defensemen. I mean, like Will Butcher might break out next year, and that'd be a great thing for the Devils. Same with Connor Carrick, but our goaltending situation is a nightmare. We're paying Corey Schneider $6.5 million to go play in the AHL. And then Mackenzie Blackwood is just this kid who he's 21 years old now, and he's not the answer either. And then we had another backup who we traded to Vancouver, I believe. I don't remember what his name was, but I mean, it was every aspect of the Devils needs help. I don't see the Devils being good for 3-4 years, another 3-4 years, which is painful because we went to the Cup in 2012. We haven't won a Cup since 2003. So it hurts, but I mean, every aspect of the Devils game needs help. But I'm glad they have the cap space and the draft picks to hopefully make some moves.
Yeah, I mean, so are they in such a state of disarray where me not knowing much about anything, the first few like articles are just like, are these players a candidate to make the Devils team in 2021? Like there's nothing about anything else. Is Kevin Ball a dark horse candidate to make the Devils? Is John, what's his name, Quackinson? Quackin? I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
It's just, all just AHL players.
Yeah, it's like someone beat Philly, please. It's just like, will Ty Smith make the New Jersey Devils squad in 2021? Are they in such a state where it's like they need apparently they need something?
Yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing. We're relying so heavily on our farm team to help bring us up, but in all reality of it, like we that shouldn't be the aspect. We should be like having dudes out on the farm team, like getting better, getting ready to come up to the league, but our answer shouldn't be in the farm team.
Yeah,
the farm system doesn't have the answer. Yeah, we either need to find that veteran. I mean, like Taylor Hall was that guy for us that was getting 70, 80, 90 points a season. He's with the Coyotes now. We got a couple picks for him. Dope hat. But it's just we need somebody. And like Kyle Palmieri, I can only imagine him sticking with the Devils for so long with the way that we're going. He doesn't want to be a career loser. And Kyle Palmieri is a dude that went to St. Peter's Prep with me. He grew up in the state of New Jersey. He played for the Ducks, though, and he had some success with the Ducks, then he got traded to the Devils. He needs to have some help on this team. Otherwise, he's going to demand a trade. And it's at that point, the Devils are just going to be hoping to get another lottery in the future.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man, because it's unfortunate that you want to build through your farm team. It's hard to do that, but the NHL isn't like the NBA or baseball where you can build through free agency. Like you have to have cheap guys because there's so many spots you have to fill on that roster. And it's tough to get up. Teams that are in the basement of the NHL stay there for a while. And it doesn't take one break. It takes 5 breaks. So I'm wishing you the best of luck, man. A guy who has never got a break in his career, old Jake Allen, traded to the Canadiens for a 3rd-round pick. Do you think he's their starter next year? He was the better of the 2 Blues goalies this year. You know, he was the best goalie in the NHL in danger zone shots, which are right in front. You know, basically shots that goalies can't see when he's blinded. He was the best goalie in the NHL. You know, the big thing about him is that he lets some beach balls in every now and then. So he kind of loses focus. Maybe give this kid some Adderall and he can be the best goalie in the league. But
I don't understand this trade at all, to be honest with you. Carey Price is under contract until 2026. So is Jake Allen did he just throw the hat in and say I'm a career backup now? Because I mean the money that they paid they paid Carey Price. He had a $13 million signing bonus this year. I don't understand it. Like, he's got a $10.5 million cap hit for the next 5 seasons until he's 38 years old, and they picked up Jake Allen. That's what doesn't make sense to me, and that's where I'm just like, I'm looking at the Devils like, why? Like, the Canadians have 2 goalies that are better than any goalie wearing a Devils jersey. I don't understand this trade at all. I feel bad for Jake Allen, honestly, because the dude he's a good goalie. He proved that he was better than Brian Elliott in the past. He took the starting job, and then all of a sudden Binnington came out of nowhere and took it from Jake. It's a shame that this dude's career is going the direction it's going, because the trade doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So for the Blues, it was a cap dump. Blues, we're going to get to them in a minute, but it was a cap dump. They couldn't afford him. They knew they couldn't afford him. Poor Jake Allen, as you talked about, he beat out Halak, who's the starting goalie for Boston. He beat out Halak when he was there. And then they go and they get some guy from the Devils who's in the Hall of Fame, and he beats him out. And then
beats him out. He was 40.
And then the Blues make this big trade to get Ryan Miller, and the whole city of St. Louis is yelling Miller time. Jake Allen beats him out. And then, it's just Jake the Snake, man. I wish you the best of luck. The Blues had to get rid of him. They're going to clear some space. But I really think that as an NHL fan, like you said, I'm surprised it was the Canadians. There's so many teams that need a goalie, so many teams that could really use Jake. And, whatever, just the Canadian curse, I guess. Wish you the best, bud.
Yeah, I wonder if they have something against him, that they hit up the Canadians yo, we need to get rid of this goalie and we don't want to go anywhere else. Give us just give us dirt. I don't know,
we'll swap sevens.
Yeah. It's just so shocking to me that this dude was just starting in playoff games, and now he's backing up a guy on that has another 6 years on his contract.
Unfortunate, man. We'll stick with the old Blues. Which NHL team? The Blues and the Bruins pretty much both got laughed out of the bubble. They were pretty awful. There was.
I know that.
It was really, really bad hockey to watch if you watch either one of them. Boston's got a lot of talent, way more talent than the Blues, so they were able to win some games. The Blues were not. Which team do you think has a tougher road to get back to the Stanley Cup in the future, Boston or the Blues?
Honestly, I think the Blues. That was just such an embarrassing showing. That. What happened with the Blues in the playoffs? Where did they win? And what did they end up winning? 1 game in the overall, since hockey came back, or not?
Yeah, 2, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah. So that's embarrassing for the defending Stanley Cup champion to come out and do that, and that just shows that the team right now isn't ready for that. I don't know what was going on with Tarasenko. He just had 4 months off. And
now he's going to have another 8 months off. He's having surgery again.
Yeah. And how is he not healthy having 4 months off? And I don't know. I don't understand what's going on there. I think that the Blues really need to take a look in the mirror and figure out what's going on with them, because the formula that they had last year was not the formula that they had this year. Sure, the Bruins embarrassed themselves and got laughed out of the playoffs as well, but at least they have the scapegoat of saying, well, Tuukka Rask left, so we had to go with our backup. Even as good as the Hawk is, we had to go with our backup. And then also they've got the President's Trophy curse, of course, that's been broken in the past a couple times now in the past 40 years, but it's still – the Bruins, I think, have a better chance at saving face next season, whereas the Blues are the ones that are going to have to fight to get that respect back.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
All right. So, how much pressure does that add to somebody like Jake Allen leaving when it comes on Jordan Binnington? How much pressure does that add to him? Because, his year, when they won the Cup last year, I feel I don't know much, but I feel like that's – a lot of alleviated pressure when it comes to somebody who who can play behind you, so you're just out there doing your thing. But if he's gone, you know, it's a lot of pressure for a guy who has not been a thing in the league for the past few, you know, ever, besides that 1 year and that playoff run in particular. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. He's got to learn a lot this offseason. You know, there's just like a pitcher in baseball or something. You always hear about beginner's luck or whatever. As soon as teams found out that his high stick side was maybe the worst in the NHL, they just went for it. Like they weren't even trying. Like teams were shooting against the Blues less than any other team in the bubble, but they were all targeting one spot. So that's why they had to make the switch to Jake Allen, because there was just nothing they could do. If he works on the high stick side, I think he'll be okay. But Cheech, like you said, the formula that they used last year was beat and grind in game 1 and 2, win the boards, check on the boards, do all that stuff to win the 50-50 pucks and maybe lose game 1 or 2. But by the time it's game 5, 6, and 7, you do not want to step on the ice with the St. Louis Blues, because they're going to keep hitting you. The Sharks, basically half the team didn't show up to game 6 whenever they were able to go to the finals. Like, it was bad. Like, the Blues were just men out there. And I think with the cup and not being as motivated, they thought they could win with skill. And the Blues with this team will never win with skill. It's not going to happen. It's tough to look in the mirror and say that, but you have to win with the formula you did last year. So it's unfortunate. And before I start crying, we'll move on to the next topic. Which team and player has surprised you the most in the bubble, Cheech?
So the Islanders, without a doubt. I did not expect the Islanders to make it this far into the playoffs, be on the verge of making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Islanders are the lowest seed right now that are remaining in the NHL playoffs. So I'm shocked with the Islanders. I probably shouldn't be because of Barry Trotz as their head coach, but I'm just shocked with them, especially because with not having Johnny T, like John Tavares was the face of that franchise for the past, 7 years. And so that overall is what surprised me. But my favorite player of the playoffs so far, though, in the same series, Carey Hart, the goalie for the Flyers. I'm just absolutely shocked at this guy. I mean, I don't know much about him. I didn't hear much about him during the season. And he's put up a few shutouts so far in the playoffs. He definitely got the Flyers to where they are now. So I'm definitely shocked with their goaltending. But yeah, Islanders are my shock team, and just Carey Hart has just been an absolute monster in net for the Flyers.
I'm gonna say the Canucks, man. Look, the Canucks came in. They got in the playoffs. They beat the Blues. They were down against adversity against the Golden Knights, which is a solid team. We all know that. Obviously, we're all hockey analysts here. And then they made it a series. It's 3-2 now. So, hey, look out for the Canucks to make a comeback. But I think Golden Knights still win. But anyway, that's my little.
They made a good goalie switch and ended up paying off them and Colorado. So it's crazy. 2 goalie systems is a big part of the NHL now. I got to go with the Islanders too. There wasn't even a backup. It wasn't even close. I'm really glad that Trotz got to slap the freaking Washington Capitals in the face and say, "Oh, you didn't want to pay me? Cool. Here, go have a seat. Go play some golf, fellas." Player-wise, I've got to go with Horvat for the Canucks. He destroyed the Blues single-handedly. He's got 9 goals in the playoff, and he's just absolutely balling right now, and I just didn't expect that, and it just hurts. So we're going to move on. The Yotes.
Funny thing about Bo Horvat, the Devils traded away that pick for Corey Schneider.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Now he's leading the bubble in goals.
That's something that I'll just never forget. Because I think he got drafted 9th overall or something like that. And yeah, Devils gave that up for Corey Schneider so that they could have a fucking yeah.
Rough episode for us, man.
AHL goalie.
We'll try to make it rough for Logston now. So the Yotes get smacked with a big punishment for violating combine test policies in 2020. They lose a second-round pick in 2021. They use a first-round pick. They don't have a pick until the fourth round this year. And if they re-sign Hall, they don't have a pick until the third round next year. Do you think this punishment was fair? And how do you think the Yotes' future looks?
You know, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm going to tell you right now. We made a run. All we need to do is re-sign Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall is a guy who's going to come out and he's going to compete. He's going to score goals. He's going to do his thing. He's proved in the playoffs that he could be a tough guy too. So I'm all right with it. I don't know shit about Dick when it comes to the NHL draft, so I have no idea how important those players are. But I'm going to say from the team that we have right now, as long as we can keep Taylor Hall and we have Clayton Keller on the other side right there, I feel good about the team going forward. They definitely got their shit pushed in hard against the Colorado Avalanche there. It was tough to watch. We did win a game, but boy, man, I think we allowed what was like 14 goals in 2 games. So
it was pretty embarrassing.
Boy,
it actually messed up the Avalanche in the next round. So
yeah, so you're welcome. Whatever
Western,
whatever team they play. Who are they playing right now? The
Stars.
They're playing Dallas. Yeah.
Hey, I picked this. All right,
you did.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with it just because I have no clue how much potential is in the draft. So I don't know. I'm not going to be the guy to go any further than that. But, yeah, we need to re-sign Taylor Hall because mainly there's a deal on Fanatics on his jersey or shirt that I want to buy. So,
yeah, I'm all about the Coyotes re-signing Taylor Hall too because the Devils get another pick out of it, or the Devils pick gets better out of that. It's still kind of confusing. I don't know if the Devils are going to be a second round or a third round right now, or it might be a first round, depending on what the NHL considers playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. But the NHL draft, typically, if you get anybody outside of like the top like 22, they might never play in the NHL. Every now and then you get a random dude in the 5th round. You're gonna get your Tom Brady drafted in the 7th round, but all of a sudden he's a 6-time Super Bowl champion. You're gonna have those random ones.
How many rounds are there in the draft?
Not many.
Yeah,
I think it's only 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know. I was trying to gauge like MLB or like NFL. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. It's a very short draft. And then I mean the talent difference from like the first overall pick to like the 19th overall pick is just absolutely it can be aggressive.
So very top heavy. So we need to re-sign Taylor Hall, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and not worry about the draft picks that you guys lost. I'm not even actually sure like what the Coyotes were caught doing.
Okay, so basically, you cannot because hockey's real big in minor league sports. Like minor league sports are a huge part of it. Like 18 under sport. Like it's a huge part of like just like making money, revenue, all this stuff. And their schedule is very brutal. Like under 18 teams and stuff like that. So basically what they said, the NHL says, you cannot test players. You cannot have players come to your camp. You can't do anything that until the combine. And teams have been caught like breaking this rule with like 1 or 2 players that they're like not sure. The Coyotes got busted doing this 22 times. Confirmed. They brought 22 players to their arena to test them out weeks and months before the combine. This punishment is supposed to be a $250,000 fine. Gary Bettman said, no. This is a weird case. We're taking their draft picks. So, yeah, they absolutely deserved it. Like you're putting so much pressure on these guys and everything. So 22 times they broke this rule.
These are high school kids.
Yeah, it's just bad for business. It really is. It's like if the NBA went to high school games and said, hey, come play with Steph Curry and stuff. If Steph Curry was punching you in the boards 20 times in an hour. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, they need to get punished for it.
They're trying to win.
They did.
Trying to win.
All right, so we're kind of in a weird time right now. We're not quite in the Final Four yet of hockey, but who you guys got winning the cup right now?
Vegas. Yeah, I got Vegas. It'd be a good story for Vegas just because, I mean, this is their second year in the league now. second, third.
Third.
Yeah. But they had that Cinderella season. I don't know. Vegas is just they've been good. I would hate to see them win with Robert Leonard in the pipes, but I got Vegas. I think it's gonna be the Islanders versus the Golden Knights, and Vegas is gonna take it in 6.
I'm going to go the Avalanche here. Look, like you said, Gibby, they did get humbled after scoring 1,000 goals against the Coyotes that first round. And they went down, what was it? They went down 3-1, right?
Yeah. Now it's game 7.
Yeah, game 7 now. We all know how this goes. I mean, we've seen game 7s, and the team who has the momentum more times than not takes the W. And if they can carry that on, I think, I do think the Golden Knights do win that series against the Canucks, and then that's probably going to be a good series, but they take that forward and they win it all. I'm going with the Colorado Avalanche here.
Yeah, I went with the Avs a couple months ago, and I'm sticking with it. This is I got to. I'm this far in. I think Game 7 is. I think they did. I think after the Yotes, they kind of had the St. Louis Blues effects. We're like, oh, we don't really need to try. So they made a good goalie change, and they're going to get after it. The thing that does scare me is if the Lightning get Stamkos back, they could really win it all. There's still no talk of a date of him coming back, but they haven't erased the possibility of him coming back. So watch out for that. All right. So to wrap up this show, CEO Logs, you watch more hockey during this time than any other time in your life. Just give us your breakdown, your thoughts on the sport, just general thoughts.
Yeah. So, look, I grew up in a place there was no hockey. No one played hockey. No one cared about hockey. No one even barely knew what hockey was. And that was like a long time ago. And I still to this day, I'd say before I met you two, I still was like, hockey is a sport that no one watches, more than likely. But hockey is a sport you need to get into. And I'll give you these guidelines. Pick a team. I don't care what team it is. I don't care if you like their mascot. I don't care if you like where they're located. I don't care if it's the Seattle Kraken, who's a new team. So they need fans. Jump on that bandwagon. And we also, with what Vegas did a couple of years ago when they entered the league, and they were, great. So I would say my advice, watch a team play a little bit, get a little bit invested, or try to. If they make the playoffs, definitely try to watch a team. So say next year you're not a fan, you're watching hockey, or you're not watching, but hockey's the only thing on, check it out. I would say most fans don't watch hockey because it's a sport where it's a little puck moving back and forth and you can't follow it as much. That's probably why people don't watch it, honestly. I mean, honestly, that's why I didn't watch it. But check it out. It definitely takes, I'd say, more skill than any other sport. Check it out, watch it, get invested, pick a team, and playoff hockey is where you need to start. I'm not going to go say watch, what do they play, 82 games, right? 62, yeah. 82? Yeah. So I'm not going to go say watch a team play 82 games or whatever, but if they make the playoffs or to get started, pick a playoff team. Just pick a playoff team. That's how I started. I wanted to cheer for Gibby's Blues last year. That's how I started because I had no idea. I was like, let's cheer for my buddy's team. And they won the championship. So I'm not going to contribute that all to me, but, it's a thing. So it's a really good, stimulating sport to watch, visually. If they're near you, go to a hockey game because that's what I think it takes. Go to a hockey game, watch the sport unfold. It's really entertaining, actually. The rules they have, you can't, walk down to your seat at certain times. That's crazy. I never had encountered that. So it's definitely cool. Big fan of hockey. Big hockey guy. But look at this. Yep, that's
he's got the hat.
Yep, Coyotes fan here. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Obviously, I have a lot to learn still, and even video games will probably help. But yeah, that's my take on that.
Well, you guys heard it from CEO Logs. Go to a hockey game, watch a hockey game, and we appreciate you guys listening to Hockey Talk. And we'll see you on the flip side, fellas.
Take it easy.